NTR.
Goedenavond en welkom bij College Tour. Vanavond opnieuw hier vanuit New York. Ze werd geboren in Amstelveen, maar ze woont al 30 jaar in deze prachtstad. Eerst begon haar carrière als fotomodel, maar daarna brak ze door met haar fenomenale rol in James Bond GoldenEye als Xenia Onatop. En vanaf dat moment ging haar carrière sky high. Ze werkte met alle groten hier in de filmindustrie, met Robert De Niro, Woody Allen en Michael Douglas. En nog steeds speelt ze in grote filmseries, zoals bijvoorbeeld XMen. Maar ook bij Netflix, in Hemlock Grove bijvoorbeeld. En ze gaat voor het eerst een Nederlandse film maken samen met haar twee zussen. We gaan daar allemaal over praten. Samen met 100 studenten hier in Brooklyn, New York, interview ik acteur en regisseur Famke Janssen. Hallo. Twee, hè?
Oh ja, twee, dat is waar.
Ja.
Hallo.
Welkom.
Thank you.
Ja, 2 kussen in Amerika.
In Amerika en 3 in Nederland.
Nederland, ja.
En 1, nou ja, eigenlijk in Amerika is het meer een soort van hug die je doet, toch?
Ja. Luister, ontzettend fijn dat je hier bent. We hebben hier Nederlandse studenten, maar ook... eerst even, hoeveel Nederlanders hebben we in de zaal? Laat je zien. Veel. How many American students are here? Okay, guys. Wat zullen we doen? Nederlands of Engels?
I think it's probably rude to do it in Dutch. Yeah?
Okay.
Nee?
Yeah, let's do it
Because
in
otherwise everybody else is going to look at us going, what? Are they throwing up in their mouths or what's going on?
Right. Okay, so here we go. The first question always at College Tour is, what kind of student were you? You studied in Amsterdam, economy, I think, at the Universiteit van Amsterdam.
Yeah, that was a disastrous decision that I made at the time. I felt like I had to prove something to my science teacher who said women can, or girls can't go into the kind of beta richting, zeg maar, the direction of the science and mathematics and all that. And so there was the language or the mathematics side. So I just felt like I had to prove something. And so I went in a direction that I shouldn't have gone in because I was much better at languages. And so hence I derailed for a bit.
So when did you decide, okay, this is not my idea, this is not a good thing, this economy study?
The economy? Oh, that didn't take long, but it was probably, I studied for less than a year, I think, and then I realized it wasn't really the direction I wanted to go in, and then I was discovered on the street in Amsterdam as a model. And even though I never had any aspirations in going that direction, I thought, you know, maybe a good way out of economics.
How long before you entered this city?
Well, then I worked all over Europe for a while. I worked in Amsterdam and then I went to Paris. I went to New York and then basically flew back to Europe every other day to go somewhere and work. So I did that for a while and then abandoned modeling after a while altogether.
Was it difficult? I mean, this is an overwhelming city, New York, and when you're very young and you enter this city, how difficult was it to root here?
I think that as a foreigner, when you come to America, you think you understand it because you've seen so many movies and television shows and all of that. And then you realize it's just different. You know, it's different than what you know. Holland's, of course, a very small little country. Grew up in a small town. And Amsterdam is a great city, but it's very friendly and people are on their bicycles everywhere. And, and then New York was big and overwhelming. I remember in the beginning I was very scared to even leave I came for a trip as a model, and I missed my plane to the Bahamas for some reason, I can't remember how, but I was stuck in New York for an extra day, and I thought, okay, so I should leave the hotel and go out for a walk and see what New York is all about, but I was so petrified. I was just used to all those violent movies from the States. I turned out I was staying on the Upper East Side in the most fancy area, but I didn't know that. Yeah. I was naive.
No homicides there, Upper East Side. Okay, let's have a look at your two sisters in the Netherlands, whom we interviewed.
Bloedmooi. Volgens mijn moeder was ze al in de wieg wonderschoon.
Ik kan me ook wel een fase herinneren dat zij bang was en om veel dingen ook moest huilen. En dat we dan altijd zeiden, we gaan Famke hard maken.
Famke is volgens mij altijd heel baldadig geweest en zonder dat iemand in de gaten had dat ze dat was.
Ik kan me herinneren dat Famke mij nog wel eens nagejaagd heeft door een heel winkelcentrum heen, omdat ik een sweatshirt van haar had aangetrokken. En zij mij echt midden in dat winkelcentrum in elkaar sloeg en mijn shirt uittrok. Famke die is volgens mij op haar 17e of zo gespot door een fotomodellenbureau. Ze had vrij snel in Nederland grote opdrachten. En toen ging ze naar Parijs en toen is ze verhuisd naar New York. En dat was in de eerste instantie volgens mij nog wel de bedoeling dat ze nog terug zou komen. Maar uiteindelijk had ze daar gewoon zo'n fantastische carrière. En Amerika past haar heel goed. En New York past haar ook heel goed.
Ze had ineens heel veel geld. Ik had dat niet.
Famke heeft toen op een gegeven moment toneellessen genomen en daar ons eigenlijk ook niet heel veel over verteld.
Ik zat nog op de toneelschool en zij ging in James Bond spelen en werd gewoon meteen megastar.
Wij vonden het fantastisch.
Dan had ze een auto met chauffeur en een suite in het Amstelhotel. Dus wij gingen allemaal om beurten bij haar logeren.
Ik voel me de hele tijd in een filmset zitten als ik met haar mee ben met dat soort dingen.
Famke is natuurlijk altijd een beetje de onbenaderbare, prachtige vrouw, niet helemaal makkelijk om contact mee te krijgen. En toen was ze op de bruiloft van Antoinette. En dan komt zij binnen en dan zie je gewoon dat iedereen een beetje zo gek gaat doen. Iedereen gaat een beetje raar doen. En toen, vlak voordat ze naar huis ging, Famke, ging ze ineens zo waanzinnig dansen. In haar eentje. En dat was zo ontzettend grappig. Dat typeert haar volgens mij wel.
Natuurlijk maakt ze zich wel zorgen over ouder worden, maar niet zozeer over uiterlijk, maar wel over ziek worden of mensen verliezen. Nou, we hebben vorig jaar onze moeder verloren, onze vader 2 jaar daarvoor.
De afgelopen tijden dat het zo slecht ging met mijn moeder, vond ik het echt heel moeilijk dat zij zo ver weg zat en elke keer in een vliegtuig moest zitten voor 8 uur om bij ons te komen. En toen heb ik me wel echt zorgen over gemaakt.
Your two sisters.
Yep, my sisters.
Yeah. Was it difficult to live here while your mom was sick?
Very. I mean, I made a decision a long time ago to move to the United States, but whenever in these times in life when things get complicated, the distance is very, very difficult. Yeah. So I just went back and forth all the time.
Yeah. And the other thing they are saying, it's difficult to approach her. She is.
I don't think so, but I think I give that impression just because of how I look. So I think people automatically kind of think I'm standoffish or, I mean, I'm tall, broad shoulders. It's not really like a very approachable looking person, I suppose. But I am. I mean, I think I am. But.
Okay. Well, let's try.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. See
Questions
how
here.
I do.
Vragen hier. Anybody in Dutch or in English, whatever you want. Please stand up and the microphone will come to you. Just a second. Let's wait for the microphone.
How do you make it as a Dutch woman in the States? What is your best advice?
There's really not one way of doing anything. That's what I've learned in all my years of struggling, and there were many, many years of struggling. I think the biggest misconception out there is that people become stars overnight, or that it's really easy for some people. Most of the time it takes 10 years. It's basically like going to whatever profession you enter in, like become an architect or whatever. You need to study, you need to work for other people, you need to find your own voice, you need to become your own artist. And I think it's very much like that for acting or any other thing that you do. So there's not one way of doing anything. I mean, I happen to do my own path it worked for me, but I think the only advice that I think is sort of universal that I can give is never give up.
Are there specific things you miss about Holland?
I miss my family. I miss being able to just say, let's go get a coffee, let's go do this, let's whatever,
Yeah.
Were there, in the beginning when you started your career here, have you had doubts, thinking, I'm going back, it's not going to work, it's misery?
Oh my God, every day.
Yep.
Oh yeah. I still think in one apartment where, oh no, it's a house in LA where I live, there's a hole in the wall that I kicked because I was so frustrated with yet another part that I didn't get, or, I mean, it was years and years and years of struggling and being turned down because you have to audition so much. I mean, it just, you know, figuring that in the however many years it took for me before I really got going.
What kept you going?
I don't know, maybe it's the underlying thing of wanting to prove myself all the time, or
Against
feeling
whom?
that, I don't know. I
You
don't
were
even
talking
know.
about your teacher, but
the
was
science teacher, maybe it's him, maybe he's at fault. It's his fault, all of it.
Okay, stand up and ask your question.
If you want to network in this industry, what would you advise to do? Where would you start?
Oh boy, that's not the question to ask me, because I never do it and I'm really bad at it, so it's the best decision I've ever made not to do those types of things, because I would honestly say the wrong thing to the wrong person and never work again. I'm just not very social. I like to spend a lot of time by myself, and I don't know how I got to be so lucky that I am where I am today without doing all that stuff that most people seem to do. I don't take place in any social media, no Twitter, no Facebook, nothing, Instagram, nothing. I don't go to parties. I'm really antisocial. I don't know. I just got lucky, I guess.
Yeah.
And what's the most important thing that you've experienced that I should know if I'm entering the market?
Okay, so the couple of pieces of advice I would give, I started working with a dialect coach from the moment I got what I called off the boat, even though there was no boat. It was a long time ago, but still, there was no boat. But it helps, because otherwise you're just everybody's gonna be typecast, but you wanna eliminate whatever you can. So if people think, oh, well, she sounds very foreign, your range is not gonna be as big and you're not gonna have as many chances. So everything is constantly about how can I broaden my chances in making it in this business. So dialect coach, acting classes, I mean, if you want to take voice, whatever.
How long before you got rid of the Dutch-English accent?
I don't know, some people claim I still didn't, but I think I did, but I don't, you know, it took a bit.
Okay.
Watch a lot of movies, so you can, you know, listen to the radio, tapes, they have these dialect tapes, whatever. All of that stuff will help.
There have been Dutch actresses who have tried to make it here. Some of them had a little bit of success, and one of those is Carice van Houten, who was on this show as well. Let's listen to what she had to say.
And Antoinette worked with her a lot.
Right.
Yep.
Your sister.
Yep.
Yep.
Ik vroeg mij af hoe jij in Amerika, of je daar je Nederlandse komaf als een nadeel ziet, of kijk ze toch vooral naar je talent?
Ik weet niet zozeer of het echt mee te maken heeft dat ik Nederlands ben. Het helpt natuurlijk niet mee dat ik geen native speaker ben. Maar het heeft heel erg te maken met bankable zijn. En dat ben ik nou eenmaal niet in Amerika, want ik ben niet bekend genoeg. Dus dan verlies ik het altijd van een Natalie Portman of een Scarlett Johansson bijvoorbeeld. Dat gebeurt gewoon veel. Het is wel belangrijk, denk ik, dat je een basis hebt voordat je daar naartoe gaat. Want het is een het gaat daar niet per se om kunst maken. Het is echt het zegt het al, showbusiness. Het gaat om geld maken. En dat kennen wij hier niet zo. En dat kan heel naar zijn.
Carice van Houten stars in Game of Thrones, worked with your sister in De Gelukkige Huisvrouw, I think.
Yep.
Yep. And what she says, it's only about money. It's not about the art.
Well, I think that's not entirely true. I mean, it is. I often say it's called the film business, and it's a business. But in addition to the big studio films that people make, there's a very big independent film world out there where people try to express themselves creatively, and where it's not all about money. So there is a combination of both, and I've been fortunate enough to work in both those types of films, so I know that when you do a little film, it's not about the money. I mean, you struggle to get them made, you struggle to get them seen. It's a work of passion that everybody involved is fighting and working really hard to accomplish exactly that.
Yeah. Questions, please stand up.
Okay, I'm a fan of yours since XMen.
Oh, you're sweet.
And I'm also, by the way, my name is Tamar. I'm also an actress, striving and inspiring actress. I've been acting for 3 years now. Like you said, I know the struggle, and I go back and forth to LA as well. My question is, because you know, egotistically call myself Phoenix. How was it playing Phoenix? Jean?
It was great. I feel so privileged that I ended up part of this franchise that now has been around for 14 years, and I've been, you know, I've played a character who died in the second X-Men, who was revived in the third one, who died as the Phoenix, who came back in the Wolverine, who came back again in X-Men Days of Future Past. So I just got, so I feel lucky. I mostly feel really grateful and lucky because not everybody gets these, you know, it's just, you never know what you get. And even when you're, I mean, I could have gotten a different part in the X-Men series, somebody who died, or not somebody with the ability to resurrect in the way that the Jean Grey character has. So.
In my opinion, they cast typed you perfect because
Oh,
you did so well.
Thank you.
As a kid, I used to watch X-Men, and when they picked you, as a kid, I used to say, I'm Jean. Me and my sister used to fight because I used to be Storm and Beast.
Right.
And I'm Jean. And now I always said when I replay X-Men 1, 2, 3. One day when I do meet her, I'm gonna ask her that question.
Thanks.
You've been waiting for a long time.
Hello.
Hello.
I just graduated from Stella Adler's studio. So my life
Congratulations.
sucks right now.
No.
It's great, but it's terrifying.
So this is an acting school.
Yes, it is, yeah. What do you think, because there are a lot of hurdles as a foreign actor
Yeah.
in America, what do you think the benefits are, if there are any, of being a foreign Dutch actor in New York?
I think the great thing about being in America is that, I mean, it's called living the American dream. And I
Sure.
think that I'm the perfect example of what that means to live the American dream. Because I grew up in a small little, you know, Amstelveen.
Sure.
And I am lucky enough to now live in New York and work in, so you can dream that and you can make that happen. Whereas I think that sometimes if I tried that path in Holland, even though I didn't even try it there because I started here, it may have been more difficult to achieve that. So I would take advantage of that, you know, dream and dream big, and ultimately, you know, hopefully you can make that, whatever that dream is that you have, happen. So I think the advantage is that it's just, there's so many more parts.
Right.
You have a lot more competition,
Yeah.
obviously, too, but there's every kind of, you know, nationality in the United States as well, so.
And do you feel, because what I've noticed that Dutch people are very grounded and very like
Yeah.
down to earth, you know, do you feel that is a benefit of being in America, that you're just like keep on going your own path instead of like, oh, film, I need to do this and that.
You know the Dutch expression, doe maar gewoon,
Ja,
dan
doe
doe
maar
je gek
gewoon, dan
genoeg.
doe je al gek genoeg.
Yeah.
Ja, precies.
That doesn't really help to make it in any country, I think, but especially not here. If this,
No,
this,
no.
if this is your ground rule,
Yeah,
then
here
you're
you
done,
don't want
right?
to be normal. You want to probably be kind of, you know, try to be noticed.
Yeah. So how did you get rid of that Dutch DNA?
I didn't really, because I never tried to get noticed, really. That's what I'm saying. Like, sometimes I wonder, like, what on earth happened? It's such a miracle. I don't do the networking thing. I don't, you know, some of the things, I don't try to draw a lot of attention to myself. I don't date famous people. I don't, you know, go to all the premieres and parties and things and, you know, try to get photographed and whatever. So it's, like I said, I don't know how I ended up still working with doing everything wrong, apparently, but...
Well, what you do is public relations for your movies, and you do interviews like this one also on American shows. Let's have a look.
Oh, God.
Please welcome Famke Janssen.
What is your power? Help me with this.
My thighs. I kill men between my thighs.
Here we go.
All right.
Ah!
You're going to have to come on top of me.
I get on top of you?
Good.
All right, now here. Now where do I go? I go where?
You
Here?
go here.
Okay, and go.
Go.
All right, let's talk about your name first of all. Famke, am I saying that properly?
You're doing okay.
How
Not
is it
bad.
actually said?
Dave, am I saying that properly?
Yes, it is.
Good.
And it is, you're from Dutch, really?
I'm from Dutchland, yeah.
From Dutchland. She's from Dutchland.
Hi, Famke. Hi, Ellen. How are you? Who hot hat?
Oh, that took me about 5 seconds.
Who hot hat?
Goed.
Is that wrong?
It's really wrong, but wow, I got it after about 5 seconds.
Is that hello in Dutch?
It's how are you? You want to learn?
Yes.
Hoe
Hoe
gaat It's nice and guttural.
Okay.
Hoe gaat het?
Het. Isn't that what I said?
Yeah?
Yeah.
Sort of.
Hoe gaat het?
Well, you have to do this stuff, but is it
Well,
something
yes,
that you
this
like or
is
not?
the thing about, and I think everybody, you know, you'll learn this as you enter the business and whatever. There's acting, and then there's promoting, and then there's everything else that comes with it, and that's a big package. So you can't be, you know, you can't just do the one thing without the other. It's a whole. When a studio hires you, they hire you to act in the movie, to promote the movie, to help, and it's in your best interest too. You don't want to not do these things because you want to make sure that the movie you're in becomes successful so they can hire you again. So it's a whole, you know, it's just a
Is it
deal,
scripted
package deal.
when David Letterman says to you, how do you pronounce your name? And you say to him, how do you pronounce Dave?
No, I
Is
think
it-
he wasn't very, you could see his expression, he wasn't very happy with my response
Have
there.
you ever been invited again?
No, David Letterman, I think, was not happy with my response.
Before I open up the hall again for questions, let's have a look at your career because I think it all started with Xenia Onatop in GoldenEye.
Yeah, it didn't
James Bond.
officially, but that's what brought, yeah, how I broke through.
So when that happens, is that the moment you know, okay, now I'm flying and this
No,
will be...
never.
No?
You never know. You never feel it because, and I think every actor you ask, even the most famous people that that I'm sure you've had here in your chairs with you, you never know. It's a really fickle business. One year they like this person, the next year they don't like you anymore, and they like another person. So you just never quite feel safe.
Let's have a look at your career.
Okay.
Ja, ze is natuurlijk de filmwereld binnengekomen in die James Bond film als Xenia Onatop. Het is zo'n ongelooflijk grappige rol. Ze is een actieheld. En ze zit in een James Bond film. Ja, dat blijf je onthouden. Haar uitstraling is Europees, maar eigenlijk ook weer helemaal niet. Ze is heel lang, ze is gevaarlijk. Terwijl soms dan glinsteren haar ogen, waardoor ze heel lief en heel open is, zeg maar. Terwijl ze ook een hele arrogante, afstandelijke vrouw kan zijn. Ik vind het ongelooflijk dat een Nederlandse actrice in wat ze dan in Amerika noemen, in 4 franchises speelt.
I'll never hurt you or anyone. It's too late.
XMen natuurlijk, waar ze eindeloos in te zien is geweest. Dan is er Taken met Liam Neeson. Waar ze in iedere aflevering weer terugkomt. En Hans en Gretel, film die vorig jaar ook in Nederland uit is gegaan. Waar ze ook weer een vervolg op gaan maken. Ja, ik geloof niet dat dat vaak voorgekomen is. Dan heb je het wel echt gemaakt. Ze heeft met Michael Douglas gewerkt en met Robert De Niro en met Liam Neeson. Dat zijn echt allemaal acteurs die bepalen wie er gecast wordt in een film. Dus zij zeggen van die actrice wel en die actrice niet. Nou, en dan doet Famke toch aardig mee. Wat ik wel mooi vind aan Famke is dat zij is nog steeds aan het leren en aan het werken. En ze zoekt steeds de grenzen op. Dan gaat ze weer regisseren en schrijven. Dat doet ze ontzettend serieus, is daar lang mee bezig. Maar ik vind het toch knap dat je dat durft en niet soort gaat baden in het succes en denkt van ik blijf aan de veilige kant. Nee, dat doet ze niet. Ik weet dat er in de afgelopen jaren heel wat producenten en regisseurs projecten bij haar hebben neergelegd. Omdat ja, iedereen wil natuurlijk een beetje meeliften op die populariteit en mogelijke succes in Amerika. En dat heeft ze niet gedaan. En ik vond dat soms wel eens jammer, want dan dacht ik van goh, neem je vaderland even mee in jouw succes. Maar nu gaat ze dat dus wel doen. En zeer terecht met haar zus, die een succesvol regisseur is. En ik vind dat leuk dat ze eindelijk gewoon in Nederland even komt draaien. Maar ik denk niet dat ze er een gewoonte van gaan maken hoor.
Is he right? It's just one film you're going to do?
You know, I don't know. I think the difference is that I didn't start acting in Holland. And I think that's why I would have to start kind of over, you know, from scratch. I've also made a whole life here. I've lived here for so long. But I have nothing against it at all. and as a matter of fact, I really am looking forward to working with my sisters. We
The title of the film is De Held.
De Held, yeah.
Jessica Duurlacher wrote the book, and you are going to perform it together with your sister. She's
and Marjolein, my younger sister, wrote it, and Antoinette, my older sister.
When are you starting to film?
Next year, but it's always, you know, with schedules, like the three of us, we're so busy. We always have to go like, okay, when can we put it together? But we're going to. Yeah. That's our priority.
Okay, questions?
How you doing? My name is Brandon. I'm from Brooklyn. What was the reason why you decided to become an actress instead of behind the scenes more?
When I came to the United States and I thought, okay, I've been modeling for this amount of time. I don't want to do this anymore. I want to try acting, but I don't want to be that, just go down the same route as all these other models who've tried it before me. Let me go back to school. So I went to Columbia University. I studied writing and literature, and always with the idea of I have something to fall back onto. At the time, I was even thinking maybe I want to get into journalism or whatever. I was clearly a little bit lost, but and then finally I started acting and got my first parts and all that kind of stuff, but always with in mind, like I love writing, I want to do more of it, and that every single time when things go badly in acting or in all those early struggling years, it would always be what I went back to.
I could definitely give you credit on that because a lot of people don't have a backup plan, so that was smart.
Yeah, I think it's really that. I mean, if I would give any advice, is the backup plan's not a bad one. It's you know, it's like if you're playing a lottery. You don't know if you're going to win this lottery. Everybody in America wants to do it, you know.
Yeah.
Talking about American culture, what was the hardest thing for you to get used to here?
The whole thing, the whole notion of, hey, how are you? Good, let's get together. Okay, great, let's go have lunch, do whatever, and then you never hear from them again.
The flakiness.
So in the beginning, I took it all very literal when they said, oh, let's do this, let's get together. I go like, okay, yes, and then I would look at my phone or whatever, and then nobody would ever call, and then I would feel rejected, and it's just different. It just means it's not exactly, you just can't be as literal, I guess, about it all.
Okay, there was somebody standing here. You have been waiting for a long time.
When you started taking acting classes, what did your life look like those first years in New York?
Actually, I started with my acting coach in New York. I still work with him today. His name is Harold Guskin, and he's really amazing. And he would
really
do
important, very well-known acting coach.
Very well-known acting coach, and he wrote a book at some point, and it's called How to Stop Acting, which I think is such a brilliant title for a book too. And that was really his sort of way of teaching, is to strip you away from all of this phoniness and get back to your true self and really be in the moment.
What did he say to you?
I mean, I don't even remember, other than that I was like, oh, I can't act, I'm terrible, this is horrible. Like, what are you doing? Just when you got good, you got out of it and you went to something, you know, because sometimes as an actor, I'm sure you all know, it's like when it gets real and you really feel things, you shy away. Like, if that's your instinct, if that's how you've gone through life, is not show your emotions too much or do whatever, then he caught it right away and he would get me back into, being real.
Why do you still study with him? What do you still need to learn or know about this business? Because you have been in all these movies already.
Yeah, I think I approach every part like it's a new adventure and a new character and a new way of approaching something.
But the irony at the same time is that directors want to cast you all the time in the same role.
Everybody gets typecast.
In which shelf, where are you? What do they want from you? It's arrogant, it's distance?
No, I mean, I don't know. I mean, I think that alien-like maybe, because I get, I don't know, I'm an alien of some sort. Yeah. Which I am, I'm a resident alien, so maybe that's not that far off. But, I think that, and that's why from the beginning, like after GoldenEye, I really fought very hard to get out of the typecasting, which nobody can fight against, because look at everybody's career in America. Everybody gets typecast.
So you have typecasting, which is one, and then we have a little clip about two colleagues of yours who are talking about age in this industry, being a woman. Let's have a look.
Okay.
I Googled myself, and I read the comments section, thinking I would get some tidbits of what people really think of me. Sandra Bullock is over 40, came up a lot. I know that. Sandra Bullock is way past 40. Yeah, I know that too. At the same time I was in the blogosphere, I was also watching movies. Lots and lots and lots of movies. I was watching fabulous women who may also or may not be over 40, giving groundbreaking performances and breaking my heart.
Everything that Sandra Googled about herself, they say about me too, except they say over 60. So what? I feel like I'm an example now in my dotage of, you know, the fact that you just can't put those old gals out to pasture.
What we have in common is that we are born in the same year, 1964. So you will be 50 this year.
Yes.
How difficult is that? What they
I
are
don't
talking
know.
about?
I mean, I think that this is one of the reasons why I'm focusing so much these days on writing and directing, is that I don't want to only have this thing hanging over my head as I get older. Will I work? What do I do to maintain myself? What is the, you know, it's not, I don't want to have my life be dependent on how I physically deteriorate. And deterioration is going to happen. I mean, it's just a matter of time. It's gravity, it happens to all of us. Deal with it, you know, embrace it. So I'm really focusing on writing, directing, producing, all of these other things so that I have a better balance in my life. And I'm not just sitting by the phone as it rings less and less, probably. I mean, this is what seems to happen to, and Meryl Streep is an exception. She's, you know, I mean, she's an anomaly. How many women her age are there working consistently? Very, very few.
Yeah.
So.
Questions?
If you could add one role to your resume, and after which you would have to quit the film business, which role would you like to play?
Okay, well then it would probably be a heroine. I mean, when I was younger, I would have said Anna Karenina, but
that's a nice role.
Long in the tooth for that one. Yeah. So but something like that, a beautiful period, you know, movie set, like an adaptation of a novel that was set in a different time, and you know, some incredible role that I got to play and go out with a bang. Yes, that would be great.
Good.
Okay, next one. Where's the microphone?
Hello, my name is Tom Vizet, and I'd like to ask you a question. Because you are a Dutch actress in the United States of America,
right.
You don't have many distinct Dutch features. However, you're very tall, or relatively tall. Does this influence the type of parts you can get? And also,
yes.
Does it influence the male counterparts you can play with?
Yes, and yes. Yes. I don't think I've said that enough just yet. I remember so many phone calls in the past where I would audition opposite people whose name I won't mention, very famous actors, and then the agent would call, make sure you wear flats. I go, okay. How tall are they? They're 5'10", and then I would come in the room and I'm like, 5'10", so 5'10 is, you know, in Nederlands is het 1,75 misschien of zo? Nee, 1,80 ik ben 1,80. Oh, 1,79. Okay. So anyway, I would come in and I would be like, oh, that's where they are, and I'm here, and I'm wearing flats. So yeah, needless to say, I did not get those parts.
Who's small? You would know.
Tom Cruise.
Tom Cruise
is
He's
not
small.
as tall. And
have you ever looked down on him during audition?
No comment.
So the answer is yes.
You know, the majority are shorter, but then now there's a lot of tall actresses out there. Nicole Kidman's very tall, and Uma Thurman's very tall, and so there's a lot of tall women out there. But the women generally have, or the men generally have just never been quite as tall, with the exception of the ones that I got to work with.
Yeah.
What I would love to hear about is your process in working with a script.
Right.
And also from like when you get it and how you get it, how it lands on your desk, and then what you do from there.
Depends if I want to do research on it. For example, I played a pool hustler in a movie called Turn the River, and I looked at it and I was like, a pool hustler? I don't even know how to hit that ball. I don't know what to do. I don't know how to do this. And I had 5 days to prepare to play a professional pool hustler. And so in those 5 days, he got me an instructor, professional pool instructor, and I tried and I worked and I did whatever I could. And then also because of the scheduling of the film, the first week of filming was all in the pool hall where we played. So it wasn't like I still had the duration of the film, the month, to work on it. It was like literally in my first week, I had to do all my pool shots. And the big thing in this film is when I win a final. It's all about getting my son back, and I need to make money and whatever in this pool game. So there's a hustle that happens at the end of the film where I need to make what's called, I think, about all this stuff, a 4-bank shot or something like that, where literally, like, it has to, if this is the pool table, it has to go like bounce from one to the next, and then be right here and knock the ball into the pocket. And we were filming. I didn't have time to rehearse that shot, really. The guy was standing with me. He was like, okay, so, it's about to call action. You just try to hit it there. Good luck. He was like, I don't know what else to say. We had no time. So it was like the camera started rolling. It got quiet. I focused, and I got it. Like, I literally made this shot where people, I think they practiced years to get this thing. It's like, I don't know what happened other than that I was so in the moment. Like, I went back to all my years of probably why, this is a roundabout way of telling why I still work with Harold Guskin. I think all of us don't know how to be in the moment. I mean, that's the hardest thing in life. We're always thinking about the past, we're worrying about the future. But to be in the moment, to really just have this, that's what I did in that moment, and that's what got me through. And as a matter of fact, what happened was that people couldn't believe that I did it. So behind the camera and the people in the scene started applauding so loud that it was a bit over the top for the scene.
You have to do it again.
I had to do it again. So I did it again the second time, and I made it again. I don't know how, the third time I didn't, but the second time I did, and we got it on, thankfully the camera thing, everything worked, the movement, and we got it. But it's really about, I think my biggest lesson in that was be in the moment, have faith, and just let it happen, whatever happens,
Nice story.
Yeah.
Here in the back. Yep.
I know you've done some pretty demanding movies like James Bond and XMen. So I'm just curious, how much of that is you? Like, do they have you hanging from the ceiling on ropes? What are you what's going on there? I'm just curious.
It can be. I mean, I did injure myself on GoldenEye because I broke my rib because we did a scene in a spa, and even though I had a stunt double, Pierce Brosnan was supposed to throw me up against a wall, and they padded the wall, and so I said to him, just throw me really hard, because it's so hard to act this and then doing something and just throw me. And he's like, no, I can't do that. I said, no, it's fine. The wall's padded. What's going to happen?
Oh my God.
He throws me up against the wall. I stop breathing. They have to stop filming, yes, turns out later I broke my rib, but
terrible.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, stuff happens,
I get it. Okay, thank you.
You are now in this Netflix series Hemlock
Yeah.
Grove. Very gory, bloody.
Yeah, scary.
Let's have a look at the scene or trailer.
Oh God.
He needs me.
You and me, we gotta finish this.
You have no right to perform your experiments on my children.
It's time for you to come out into the world.
Netflix series Hemlock Grove. Yeah, do you like to watch it yourself? Are you watching it?
No, I can't. The good thing is you can fast forward through the parts that you can't watch yourself.
Yeah.
So.
Were you lucky enough to be asked for this? Because, as I understand, here in this country, the television series like Hemlock Grove and all of them, they have production budgets as if they are a movie,
Feature
a Hollywood
movies,
movie.
yeah.
And apparently there's much more work in television now than in Hollywood movies.
Yeah, I mean, I think a lot of people are turning towards this type of Netflix or HBO or any of those types of shorter series, shows like 10, 13 episodes, because the work is better, it's consistent. What's happened in the United States is that the films, the discrepancy between the 150 plus million movies and then below the million, there's nothing in between anymore. So all the great parts for actors are really kind of hard to find. So most people are turning towards these types of shows to have, consistent work. And Netflix is wonderful because I think that the shows they're turning out are of such high quality with great directors and great actors and filmmakers. And I've grown up with them because we started, we were the second show out.
Yeah.
And it's just the beginning of when I started working with Netflix, and people would say, okay, I don't understand, what is this Netflix thing? Is that a web series or something? And we go, no, not exactly. And now people are going, how do I get to, who do you know at Netflix? Can you set up a meeting for me? Because they all want to just, work for them.
Over there, in the back.
Hi, Famke. Apologies if this question is a bit personal, but I understand, like many celebrities, you've had disturbed perhaps people who stalk you or who've gone into your life. I was wondering, would you mind sharing with us how you get through that? Because it's something that many people might not experience, but there might be a lot of people out there who we don't know about who have to deal with this.
Well, interestingly enough, apparently, because I had a stalker, but it turns out that more people who are not famous get stalked by ex-husbands or boyfriends, whatever, than people who are famous. So it's just, I think it becomes more public when you are in the public eye. But I mean, you do pay a price for the lack of privacy that you may have. But to me, I feel that I've been so lucky that I've kept a low profile. Like I said before, I don't participate in many big events. I don't date famous people. There's not a lot to talk about. Like, you can take a picture of me and my dog, and then after 3 times, you're like, all right, it's her and her dog. What else are we going to do? It's not that interesting to publish that anymore. So my goal has always been to keep under the radar. And I think part of that is a safety issue, too, because you don't want to be that visible, recognizable. I certainly wouldn't want to walk around the world with a bunch of bodyguards around me or something, which always draws a lot more attention to yourself too. So, I mean, it's part of it, acting is not just acting. Acting is everything, is doing publicity, is giving up part of your privacy, is, sharing things with the world that you may not, failing publicly. When something doesn't work out that well, you don't fail privately, you fail publicly, and everybody has an opinion about everything. I mean, I remember in my years, because it's been like a roller coaster the whole way of sometimes I did well, then other years I didn't work as much, then I worked again. And then you have people going, oh, are you going to act again? Or what do you do again? Or what is, or it just always feels a little bit like you feel like you have to defend yourself. Like, no, I am really acting. I'm trying really hard. So, it's all the public thing. It just makes it a little bit stranger in that you just share your everything with other people.
Yes. Is there something you wish you knew before you started acting that you know now?
Well, probably not how hard it was going to be, because I don't think I would have attempted it. But I mean, I think that to me, I've always said work creates work, and I can look back and say, wow, that was a really embarrassing movie I was part of, and I wish I hadn't done it. But at the same time, you have to start somewhere, and everybody has to get a role and learn and grow, and you don't just become a good actor. I mean, I've done terrible movies. I've had stupid performances as an actor that I'm not proud of. But, I did them and I learned and I tried to get better. And so I don't know if any of in the beginning, had I known, I don't know. I try not to look back.
Hi, I was wondering, as an actor, you're always pushed to grow and to improve yourself as an actor. I was wondering, as you, as Famke, what would you like to improve in yourself, in your personal me, or in your personal life? Yeah.
Oh God! So every day I put new things on myself that I want to, I want to learn and I want to grow and I want to challenge myself. I never want to feel stagnant. I never want to feel that I didn't make my life more complicated than it should have been, just so that I could grow and learn from my own mistakes and everything. I don't want to get lazy. And I don't want to, give in to whatever, because I think that often you just get, I'm sure you guys all know this already because you've been acting and doing all these things, and it doesn't even matter, just in life, you get boxed in. From the moment somebody meets you, they make one quick impression of you and they put you in this little box and say, that's what you are. And my whole life has been about trying to get out of this box of whatever that is. I'm unapproachable, I'm, whatever thing that people throw at me. That's I think why Marlene, my sister, said, and then she starts dancing like a crazy person. So, whatever it is to not be judged by, you're always judged by other people, and I try not to pay attention, but I just mean want to be my own person and do my own path. And I think the one example in life, and I never modeled myself after anybody, but if I look at somebody named Louise Bourgeois, was a French artist who died in America, in New York, in Chelsea, a couple of years ago. She, to me, is a role model in that she's an artist, she had her own voice, she did her own thing, which was so unique. And I'm sure that path was not an easy one, but she did it, and she did it her own way. So that I would like to, and I'm sure she failed and had time, and she was never as successful as most male artist. Probably most of the people in this room don't even know who she was. If you can look her up online. But maybe because she was a woman, maybe because she wasn't trying that hard to be famous or whatever it was, she just never became as big of a star. But she was a very big star, but not like worldwide name kind of star.
Well, I think your performances are like art to me. And
Oh, you're sweet. Thank you.
The last question I always ask to the guest in the show is, based on your long career now in Hollywood, here in New York, and soon in the Netherlands, what is the best advice you have for students here and people watching this at home?
I think I've said it, don't give up, be yourself, create your own path. It's just really important to find your own way and of expressing yourself, You are you. You're put on this planet as your own individual person, whatever that is, whoever that is. So follow your gut. Go with wherever that leads you. Don't try to imitate somebody else's life or career. Do it your own way. Really follow your own heart.
Famke Janssen. Before I let you go, let me introduce the next guest on our show next week. Volgende week is deze man te gast in College Tour.
I came here to where I am today by following my heart and following what I think is fun and what I think is cool.
Let the music play, I'm gonna say what I'm gonna say. Sack that sack up, back to blue, black up, Afro Jack, that's my DJ. Turn up the speakers.
I've done a lot of crazy things in my life. I met a lot of crazy people. I stayed in crazy houses. I had crazy girlfriends. I had a crazy life.
Volgende week Afrojack in College Tour. Aanmelden voor al onze gasten dit seizoen kan nog hieronder in beeld. collegetour.ntr.nl. Thank you all for your great questions. Dank jullie wel voor al jullie mooie vragen. De Amerikaanse en de Nederlandse. Thuis bedankt voor het kijken. En vooral Famke, ontzettend bedankt dat je hier was. Dank je wel.
Oké.
Dank je.
NTR, speciaal voor iedereen.